Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Around the world, Ohayo gozaimasu, konnichiwa. Thank you. It is pretty funny. Oh, hey, hi George, how are you? Good to see you. Where's your camera? He has his camera, okay. My name is Doug Bruhnke. I'm the CEO of Global Chamber, and I'm just so honored and pleased to see so many wonderful members of Global Chamber here today. At our home here at Thunderbird School of Global Management. I'd like to first look at a text, and then I'm going to introduce Ghazal. She and I got a text a little while ago at 1:07 p.m. It says, "Dear Doug and Ghazal," where are you, Ghazal? Come on in. This is Ghazal Khorshidi. Please, a round of applause. And Ghazal is our Global Chamber's main contact to Thunderbird, and of course, to the Dean as well. And so she and I received this message because he was going to be here. And then he was going to be zooming in from where? Cape Verde,
Africa.
He was going to be from where?
Cape Verde, Africa.
How many people know where Cape Verde is? Raise your hand. Okay. I thought so. I didn't know where Cape Verde was until about a year ago. So here's his message. Dear Doug and Ghazal, sadly, the flight from Cape Verde to Dakar just got delayed. Unfortunately, I will be in the air during the semiconductor event. Doug, please just welcome everyone to Thunderbird on my behalf and pass on my regrets for not being able to join. You are a Thunderbird and my brother. He's so amazing. And I'm not even a Thunderbird grad. And I had told him a week or so ago upstairs that I had been introduced at a Global Chamber Los Angeles event as a Thunderbird grad, but I'm a University of Utah and Michigan State guy, and I love Thunderbird. I only aspire. They wouldn't let me in. But they let Ghazal in, and she not only graduated with her master's degree, but she also is now working at Thunderbird. Ghazal, would you like to make an opening comment?
Thank you very much, Doug. I would love to do so. Welcome to everyone. We are very excited that Global Chamber is hosting their annual Semiconductor Summit here at Thunderbird. We are thrilled and proud to have all of you here. I'm sorry that our space kind of like didn't have enough, we couldn't provide enough seating for all of you. I would like to just introduce Thunderbird very briefly. This is a school with 76 years of history in diplomacy, business, management, leadership. We are the leaders of kind of globalism. The school was established on the ashes of the Second World War as a symbol that we do not want to have any wars like that anymore, that borders frequented by diplomacy and traders seldom need soldiers, and that has been our guidelines for the past 76 years. We moved from Glendale, our historical campus here, in 2018, and we made a new commitment that we are going to be committed to help the great city of Phoenix, the metropolitan Phoenix, to realize its global potentials. And as a part of that, Dean Cogram and Mayor Gallego, as the main architects of this partnership that we developed, and we call it Global Phoenix Global Rising, where we are proud to convene all the global organizations in the Valley, including Global Chamber, our Greater Phoenix Economic Council, Phoenix Committee on Foreign Relations, Global Ties, I know that a delegation from Global Ties is here, Swedish American Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of other Chamber of Commerces. We are very proud to be the representative and the convener of this elite group. I would like to take this opportunity and thank our partners, Doug Bruhnke, for just always being such a good partner. Chris Camacho, on behalf of Dean Cogram, we are always proud to have you. Consul General Sone, we are very honored to host you here. And also the rest of the partners and guests who are here. And I'm sorry if I cannot remember everyone's name off my memory, so I need to go to the list. So Jason Bogley and Marian Garibay, and I know that they will be introduced, so I'm not going to take too much of anyone's time. I just want to add one piece. Wherever you want growth in diplomacy and trade, a university is a centerpiece of the thought leadership. And that has been our mandate at Thunderbird, to provide that thought leadership as well as kind of talent pool for our ecosystem here in Phoenix. And we are very loyal to that mission. With that, I would like to invite you all to come back to Thunderbird on March 15th, when we have our main employers networking, where we actually help our students network with the business owners and the employees in the Valley. I would ask Doug to later on please include the kind of invitation to your follow-up communication. We would love to have that, to provide that opportunity to our local partners to actually directly talk to our students. And as Mayor Gallego says, I would like to finish with what Mayor Gallego says. Phoenix is the global city of future, and Thunderbird is proud to be a member of helping that future get realized. Thank you, everyone.
Ghazal Khurshidi. Just a few comments about what you're in for here today. Besides this summit, we have something that Phoenix has never seen before, and that's going to be a reception for the ages over at the Japanese Garden. And Kyoko, could you raise your hand? She'll at the end of the program be here to explain a little bit more. But when I started to see the vendors that were going to be there, it looked phenomenal. And now, as I understand it, 6 to 8 o'clock with the VIPs who are breaking open the sake bottles so that we can all drink them. I don't think there's such a thing with the sushi, but with the sake, we're going to do a little bit of a ceremony with VIPs. This meeting, I would say, has some things that are very global chamber. Number one is, we are 2.5 hours here, and there's at least 25 people that you will meet who will speak. And so our goal is always to introduce you to ideas and thoughts and opportunities. Have you ever spoken with somebody who's very local and they get depressed all the time? And there's a reason for that, because when you're doing global business, as you all know, there's always an opportunity. The problem isn't there aren't opportunities, it's how do I limit the amount of opportunities? And that's a fun, challenging problem, right? That's a high level problem. And that's certainly one of the things that Thunderbird does really well, which I did bring this, Ghazal, the #1 in the world for international trade, just measured by one of our members, the Heinrich Foundation, that is a strong global chamber member in Singapore, Vietnam, and originally in the Philippines, actually. Global people have fun. And so we're going to have fun in this session, and we're going to have fun in the later session, especially since there is alcoholic beverages involved with that one. We purposely didn't provide too much here because we want you to be hungry and thirsty for the garden. So we'll explain a little bit more about where to park and things like that, but it's 22 minutes. But apparently I understand from Jen that it takes longer when you're wearing stilettos. How long did it take you? Okay, about that same time. So she's a fast walker. And so we'll wrap up sometime around 5:30, 5:45 here. And then we are going to go over to the garden. And I think that is mainly what we wanted to talk about here at the beginning. I do want to thank Consul General Sone for your leadership, relatively new in the Consulate General of Japan in Los Angeles, and already demonstrating leadership. So thank you very much for that. Dr. Kagram, we mentioned already. Kelly Moore is our honorary consul for Japan in Arizona. I don't think he's here. He's getting ready for the festival. That's one of the reasons why he won the Rising Sun Award, and I never get it right. There is a way to say it. One of the few Americans to have been recognized by the Japanese government because of his leadership, including the Matsuri here, which is, I think, the #2 Matsuri in the United States. And so he's working on that, but he will be there at the reception, I'm quite sure. I want to thank Chris Camacho. You know, Chris Camacho, when we started Global Chamber, he was at GPEC, and he gave one of our early international state of the metros early on. And we do an annual report card here in Phoenix. So Chris, thank you for your leadership then. And now he's the CEO of Greater Phoenix Economic Council, and you'll be hearing from him in a few minutes. And I also wanted to recognize Kristen from Global Ties. Kristen, are you here? All the way in the back. So before we get going, I don't know whether I can make it all the way back here, but you have a delegation here. So that one of the most amazing programs the US State Department runs is the International Visitor Leadership Program. And Kristen runs those programs for Arizona. Kristen, who do you have here today?
I might go ahead and let them quickly introduce themselves because they arrived yesterday, and unfortunately I don't have their full long names all memorized, but we do have 8 delegates traveling through the U.S. Department of State's International Visitor Leadership Program. They are looking at U.S. trade policy. And I'm going to let each one that is here right now, a couple of them are still on their way, but I will let them introduce themselves.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Augusta Fortes. I'm come from Angola, South Africa. And now I'm the National Director of Foreign Trade. In my country, I control the import and export of the goods. I'm also a member of Trade Facilitation. It's my first time here in Arizona, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yuriko from Japan. I'm working for the Tesla as a sales operation. So actually this program is kind of challenging for me. So yes, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Gonzalo from Chile, South America. I work for the government of Chile. I'm a free trade agreement negotiator. So thank you all for the opportunity. And it's my first time in Arizona also. So nice to meet you all.
Do you want to keep moving?
I felt like I lost control there for a moment. But that's global business, right? You're always flexible and resilient because stuff happens that you never expected to happen. And that's a lot of the reason why we're involved with it. So thank you, Kristen, for all that you do. And that's a very important program. And Global Chamber does get involved, not just here, but in other cities to support, especially on the business side of what's going on. So thank you very much. Let's now switch over to the Honorable Kenko Sone. He is the Consul General for Japan, based in Los Angeles. We really appreciate your office's longtime partnership with Global Chamber, both here in Arizona and in Southern California, through the leadership of Brian Swords and now Nishigami-san. Hello, thank you for your leadership as well. Consul General Sone, would you like to make some opening remarks, please? Consul General Sone.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. And I say welcome to this seminar. I'm a kind of the a part of the hosts of or bringing the Japanese business people today. So thank you very much for joining us today. It's very much an honor to host this seminar in Arizona and to have so many distinguished the members, the business people and officials. And first and foremost, I'm grateful for the hard work and dedication of the Dean of the Thunderbird School of Global Management, Sanjeev Kagram, is the right pronunciation, sorry. And of course, the Doug Bruhnke, of the CEO of the Global Chamber, and Chris Camacho, CEO of the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, GPEC. Nice to see you again. And I think we'll have some video message from the mayor of Gallego and the US Senator Mark Kelly. I also would like to thank them as well. You know, this is actually the third time visiting the Phoenix. The first one was in October last year. Well, I assumed my post in September last year, and right after that, I came here with several business people. And at that time, we thought maybe it's nice to have more opportunity to bring Japanese business people here again for expanding their collaboration in the semiconductor industries. And second time I came here to attend one of the it's the 20th anniversary of the Japan Friendship Gardens, and 20 years of Friendship Garden, 25 years of the tea house. That was my second time. And those experiences, I thought, well, it's next time we'll bring the Japanese business people as well as those Japanese food related industry to have some experience for local Phoenix people, people in Arizona, as well as those Japanese business, well, the food industry people to have experience and to see the opportunity for their coming to expand their business here in Arizona. So, by the way, back to the main topic today. The main topic today is the semiconductor. Semiconductor has been an essential component for the consumers and commercial products. And now it's becoming very much strategically very important. It can be used for various high technology industry, like dealing with AIs. And also I visited one of the research institute in the Google dealing with the quantum computing. Even they are talking about quantum computing, they also need some traditional computing system to correct some errors, so that the semiconductors continue to be important in this world. And so we all very much recognize the importance of the hedging the geopolitical risks and addressing the resilience and supply chain issues. So that is why our two countries, Japan and the United States, are committed to collaborating in semiconductor industries as a part of the very important economic security issues. So both countries are addressing these challenges with the new investment plans to diversify the global supply chain and reduce risk for all, while bringing semiconductor productions closer to home. And it's in this global effort, Greater Phoenix and the entire state of Arizona are playing a very active and important role. So many global companies, including Japanese ones, are participating in Arizona market. These Japanese companies are major suppliers of chemicals, resins, precision metal parts, machinery, and other products and services to support the semiconductor industry, both globally and as well as locally here in Arizona. So Japan is currently the second largest foreign direct investor in Arizona after US next door neighbor Canada. And Japan is responsible for about $7 billion in foreign direct investment here and creating around 12,000 jobs in Arizona. We have an opportunity to build an even deeper relations by cooperating in strengthening Arizona's local economy and supply chains. So I'm sure today's seminar will have a great opportunity for all of you to explore new business opportunities and investment opportunities. So I hope this will be a great momentum for many companies to create a resilient and stable supply chains in semiconductor industry. So I hope today's seminar will be very much useful. So I hope we will have a wonderful time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Consul General. I think we're now ready for the queue up of the Mayor Gallego's video. Mayor Gallego, in her short time, has spoken 6 times at Global Chamber. She is a friend to international business, and she's been instrumental in obtaining not just TSMC's investment in Arizona, but other countries. Let's see if we can get Mayor Gallego.
We have worked together in a great success story on so many global deals. One that is on our minds today with the semiconductor industry was TSMC, $12 billion of investment in Phoenix. It is our largest foreign direct investment ever, and one that happened at the height of the COVID pandemic. COVID hit during the end of my first year as mayor. It was a rough rookie year in that way. You as mayor ask yourself, how is my community going to come out of a global pandemic? What will our city's future be? And the fact that we could have our largest foreign direct investment ever during the pandemic gave our residents an assurance that we will continue to create the great jobs that we have done in the past, that the things that make this community a desirable place to work and live will continue to be true. TSMC joins a robust, already existing semiconductor ecosystem here, including Intel, which is in making huge investments as well in the greater Phoenix area. And we think that entire partnership can only be stronger with more robust work with Japan. Japan has been a very strong leader in the semiconductor industry, and there's important supply chain advantages, but also national security advantages to working more closely together. So we hope we can use this event as a springboard and really look at the amazing opportunities in Phoenix. We have the ability to welcome many more additional companies. We have a supplier campus that is zoned in our city, and we've seen suppliers investing not just in Phoenix, but throughout Arizona. Very recently, Sunlit broke ground and is making a very large multi-million-dollar investment not far from where TSMC is. We know we expect some good announcements coming soon and more to celebrate, and hopefully even more investments from Japanese companies will be part of it. We've been pleased to see so many companies from Japan invest in this community, from helping us with our healthcare and biomedical needs to a more recent one with United Foods, which will improve our culinary supply here, and also $11 million of investment, great jobs created. So lots of good news to come.
Thank you, Mayor Gallego. Round of applause for Mayor Gallego. Her first presentation at Global Chamber was before she became mayor. I almost said married. She and her primary opponent debated global strategy. So I wanted to point that out because we're not political. We don't pick sides, although well, we'll just leave it at that. We don't pick sides. We just pick rationality and intelligence and truth and honesty and integrity and respect and values that Global Chamber members have. Mayor Gallego in that debate was amazing. I didn't really know her that well, but she was extraordinary. And she not only expressed those values, but really had prepared about what her global strategy would be. And so that was really exciting. So that then now moves forward to our next speaker, and that is Senator Kelly. Again, we don't we love Mayor Gallego and we love Senator Kelly, but we don't pick politics, but we want politicians to be smart about business. And Senator Kelly is really smart, and he helped with the CHIPS Act. And so he's going to be talking about that right now. So let's cue up Senator Kelly.
Hey, everybody, it's Senator Mark Kelly. I want to welcome all of you to Arizona and take a few minutes to talk about our state's semiconductor industry. As you know, semiconductors are in nearly everything, from cell phones to washing machines to cars and fighter jets. And globally, there's a semiconductor shortage, which means we need to boost production and discover new and smart ways to make chips for the future. And there's nowhere better to do that here in the United States, and especially here in Arizona. Arizona is at the heart of current efforts to strengthen our domestic semiconductor production. In the past 2 years, TSMC and Intel have both announced multi-billion-dollar investments in Arizona, and dozens of more companies who make cutting-edge tools and materials and who design, package, and test chips are also coming to Arizona. I know Congress can do more to support these investments. That's why I spent months last year writing and negotiating a bipartisan deal which provides $52 billion to provide incentive grants to support chip makers who decide to open new locations here in the U.S. and fund leading edge research. And I'm not stopping there. I'm also leading the fight in the Senate to ensure that companies throughout the semiconductor supply chain, from those who make the tools and materials to those who do the final testing and packaging, can also benefit from these CHIPS Act programs. And I'm working to create a permanent investment tax credit to support long-term semiconductor capital investments here in the United States. As more and more companies look to expand into the United States and Arizona, please consider me and my office a resource. And know that me and my colleagues in Arizona's congressional delegation are working hard to support this critical industry in the months and years to come. Thank you, and enjoy the conference.
Next, we have Chris Camacho. And Chris, I had introduced earlier, but Chris, could you just give maybe some opening remarks on greeting the crowd with Greater Phoenix Economic Council?
Good afternoon, Chris Camacho, Greater Phoenix Economic Council. Welcome to the fastest growing technology hub and population in the United States. So you're sitting right in the heart of where the heartbeat of the United States in terms of global and domestic investments are happening around advanced technologies. And as Doug mentioned, we've known each other for probably 15 years or so. We both had no gray hair back then, I believe. But we've seen this economy rapidly change. And sitting here at the heart of Thunderbird School of Global Management is indicative of what this community is all about. You have Mayor Gallego, certainly Senator Kelly, and I'm going to talk more about that on the panel here in a moment, the work that this whole community did together to advance not only the CHIPS Act, not only the work that Michael Crow and Arizona State University is doing around chips and advanced electronics. We are radically changing economic development and really the stature of driving an economy with a very different lens and a very different playbook. And so again, sitting here in the heart of Central Phoenix with all of these global friends, now that we can call you all friends, I think you're going to find that Phoenix as a market, Metro Phoenix and the state of Arizona, is the most welcoming community from really wherever you come from. Whether you're coming from, we have a lot of Canadian snowbirds that love to come here for the wintertime. We have a lot of Mexican nationals that come here for binational commerce. We have a lot of Western Europeans that come here to take advantage of the supply chain in advanced electronics and automotive. We have a number of Asian companies that are now plugging into this profound change in advanced electronics and really advancing technology. And so what we have here to offer you is the ability to plug into not only the fastest growing market in the United States, but if you project out, which that's what I do for a living, studying markets for a living. I was in Dallas, Texas yesterday. There are US markets competing to be the national leader in a number of emerging novel market spaces. And that is happening here in aerospace and defense, microelectronics, semiconductors, the IoT world, cybersecurity, quantum computing. All of that is happening right here in our backyard. So we're here to celebrate and work with many of you. One brief call out, because we've celebrated so many great people here today, but the Consul General, we've had a chance to meet several times and welcome Japanese delegations to the metro market here. We want to not only welcome all of you, but we want to have a long-term sustained relationship with you, because what's in your best interest is in our best interest to grow binational and global investments here in our community. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, I know Doug said 60 seconds or so. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jack Sellers, who's here today, very humble guy, but Jack was at the helm. Jack, raise your hand. Jack was the head of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. And he was at the helm back in 2008 when this economy was in a very different position than it is today. Again, the economy has changed rapidly, but in 2008, we were one of the economies hit most directly by the housing bust in the United States, the housing contraction that many markets, growth markets experienced. And Jack was one of those leaders that set an international beacon of expectation that we would become a global hub for commerce. And with partners like Global Ties, partners like the Global Chamber, ASU, this is what we do well, is we partner together to challenge ourselves to really drive an ambitious global investment plan. And that's what you're going to see more of here this afternoon. So welcome to Phoenix, and we're excited to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for all the progress you've made, the award-winning GPEC, sharing the values. And that, I think Arizona is a pretty unique place in the sense, I mean, I've lived in 7 states and traveled to 65 countries and been able to see different places, and Arizona is quite unique. And I think we'll be uncovering that today. There are a couple people I want to have raise your hand. Nicole, could you raise your hand? And Charles, where are you, Charles? Are you back there? Could you raise your hand? So these are our 2 assistants today. Charles actually works for MCOR, and Nicole is an incoming Thunderbird student who's becoming an intern unless she gets turned off today by too much going on. So please be kind to Nicole, because we want to have her help continue to build our 14 chapters in Japan, which is her main focus, but also get involved with international business. Our next speaker is Marian Garibay. And so any of you in Arizona know that you can't say Arizona without talking about Mexico. It really becomes the mega region. And that's maybe hard for a lot of people to understand. Like, I'm from New York, and New Yorkers don't know the connectivity. They hear stuff on the news like there's dead bodies in the desert, being like these people overrunning the border and just like total nonsense stuff. Here, where's Eduardo? Where's Eduardo Gonzalez? He's got 258 consulting that he does between US and Mexico business. 258 was the number of pillars that used to be along the border all the way from California through Texas, basically an open border. And technology is going to allow that someday. And we're going to stop the nonsense that goes on now about vilifying people. We'll just keep it legal and keep it fun and keep it profitable. And what American Industries does is manufacture products for companies that are looking to sell in the US. And so, Marian, would you be able to share a little bit more about that? Would you like this microphone?
Yes. Are we having?
Hopefully the presentation comes up. Let's see.
Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here with this great audience from different countries. As Doc said, we are very used to this border relationship between Mexico and the USA, and to the NAFTA region, this mega region that it's getting stronger day after day. But having here all of you together for different countries makes me happy and optimistic about the world and the near future after the pandemic. Okay, so if we can go to the next slide, please. I'm just gonna present 2 slides about who is American Industries, what we do, so we can understand after this about a little bit more about the presentation. So we are a private Mexican company. We have been more than 47 years in the market. What we do is to help foreign companies from all over the world to establish operations in Mexico. We know every country is different, every regulation is different in different places of the world. So what we do is to help you looking for a different distribution center, a different manufacturing facility in Mexico to make it more easy and more smoothly. Okay, we believe that ourselves are one of the main promoters of foreign investment in Mexico. So we work together with other countries' authorities, with our own country authorities to make this happen, okay? Can we go to the next one, please? Okay, this is just a quick sample of the kind of clients that we have. You can see that we have clients from all over the world. We especially and kindly work with Japanese clients and now with a lot of Taiwanese clients as well, and from different industries. We have grown a lot in the aerospace and automotive industry in Mexico, but we have been able to support companies from all kinds of industries, from pet food to sport gear and other industries. Okay, so this being said, we can go to the topic that I have today to share with you. So it's not a secret that we are facing some problems with the supply chain around the globe. We are facing some problems about the labor shortage. The labor is also getting older everywhere. So we need to be more careful where to place our manufacturing operations, our distribution operations, and how to help them to be sustainable across the time. So this is very important, and that is why now the NAFTA region is taking this important during the nearshoring. We have seen that we need to have different options around the globe. We are so big and we were just placing our industries in one single place, different industries, and this causes a crisis in these last 2 years. So now is a good time to rethink about that. Of course, the US is one of the biggest markets in the world. So Mexico, Canada, and all the NAFTA region is a good region to set up our operations that are looking to supply this big market. The next one, please. So why Mexico? If it is an option, I know that all of us, we heard about Mexico and the narcos and the crisis every day, but we are not just that. We are prepared people. We are hardworking labor force. We are strong regulations and protective laws that protect the investors that we have in our country. So it makes total sense to go to Mexico and manufacture there. Can we go to the next one? Okay, so this is just a small summary of what is Mexico at this moment. We are more than 107 million people. We have a very young population and a very, very productive market there. All we can see every day that our clients that have manufacturing operations there see a lot of productivity, quality productivity, highly quality productivity there. So it makes a good sense to go there. We can see that we are dividing in 3 different industrial regions. The region number 1 is the Northwest, maybe it's the one that we know the best, you know, Tijuana, Chihuahua area. And this is very strong in all kinds of industries. As well, the the Northeast region is getting very strong in metal mechanics, in automotive as well, and the Central region. Central region is more focused on high-tech automotive, electrical vehicles, and all the manufacturing. All these big OEMs are located in the Central. So you will get all this information We have back there in a table, a card like this. Here in the QR, you can download this information. You can download more information there. I don't want to take the whole evening here. So can we go to the next one, please? Okay, this is what we do. This is the main part of my presentation. What we can do for our clients is to help them to go through the planning project on the day-to-day basis. We help you to go on the site selection phase, decide what is the best location for you, what is the best building for you, the best facility. Then we help you to make a business case. We are gonna see a quick example after this, a business case of how much would it cost to manufacture in Mexico? How much is the cost of labor in Mexico versus other countries, right? This is very important for the budget, for the planning of your project there. All of these are complementary services. It's what we do. We promote the investment in Mexico. We work alone, again, with our authorities. So this is what we do in the first phases. After this, we help our clients in a daily basis in 3 main areas. Administrative, financial, and fiscal area. Customs and logistics, we help to reduce all the duties and the taxes that we are paying when import and export from and to Mexico. And as well, all the labor relations. All the union management, the labor management, the recruitment every day to get the right person that we need in our operations. And in the other hand, we have industrial real estate development, where to locate your operations so we can promote or we can make a build to suit projects to our client or existing buildings. This is something that we do on the daily basis. I was talking a few minutes ago with someone and they tell me, okay, after how many days or months you are gone from these operations. I am glad to say that most of our clients remain with us an average of 10 years. So we help them 10 years until they feel confident or their corporations require them to create our own legal entity there or to run by themselves. And when they feel comfortable to do so is when they go by themselves. So in average, 10 years with us can let you know a little bit about the good job that we do so they can remain with us. Can we go to the next one, please? Okay, this is a little bit, I don't want to get too much in detail on the site selection that we do, but it's just an example of the detail that we do and that we help our clients to get along with authorities, to get on the incentives, to get and see how is the labor pool in each region and get you into the best location, either in the north, in the center, or in the west area of Mexico. Can we go to the next one, please? Okay, this is what I was talking about. This is part of our complementary service. So we help you to get a model, we call it a cost model, where we can see how much would it cost the labor, the cost per hour of the labor. It's not a secret, you know that we are lower wages in Mexico with high productivity. So we can see the different positions that are required in the operations, the cost per hour. Here is an average of all the direct labor that this example require. How much would it cost the building, the logistics, bringing your materials back and from Asia and bringing the products into the US, etc., and all the costs. So finally, we have a cost per month and a cost per hour. This is what we do to help our clients to take better decisions. The best we can plan, the better we can budget is the most better projects that we can have. So this is what we can do to our clients. This is what we can do for you and the projects that you are trying to evaluate if you need to relocate or not. Can we get to the next one, please? So here is an example of 3 different phases and how we present to our clients, okay, if you have 50 head count in your operation, 100 and 150, how much would it cost every part of the operation so you can budget, so you can plan again. Next one, please. I'm running a little bit, Doug. I know that we are a little bit short on time. I just want to let you know what we do, and you can download again everything in a card like this. Okay, so the main model that we do is called shelter. This allowed you, or allowed the companies that are going into Mexico to set up an activity without having a legal entity in Mexico, reducing the liabilities, the risks, and allowing you to set up an activity without having a legal entity there, having your invoicing and your collection in your own country, but having a full control operation in Mexico. How I say the shelter, which is the model that we use, is the best combination between your own fully owned company and a contract manufacturer. You have full control of the quality of the production, but without all the liabilities. And I'm sure that today, later in the event, in the reception that we are going to have time to talk with you more in detail. This is just to open mouth and let you know what we do. Can we go to, which I believe is one of the last ones. Again, the areas that we help our client, purchasing of non-production material, fiscal, human resource. We even help our clients to relocate the expats in Mexico, getting the working visas, getting the families a house, the schools, everything, so you can focus on your operation. Can we go to the next one, please? Okay, and the next one again. Okay, this is how we work. Our clients do whatever is located in the white squares. We cannot be expert. You saw the sample of clients that we have. We cannot be expert in aerospace or automotive or food industry. What our clients do is to focus on the design, on the development, scheduling, programming, and we focus in the back office. We focus to help you to comply 100% with the local regulations, with everything that is needed to be effective. These are the advantages. And this is my last slide. And again, I just wanted to open mouth so we can just talk a little bit later today. Thank you.
Thank you, Marian. There was, as long as we're talking about Mexico, this is kind of a unique topic for Arizona. I also wanted to introduce a group. Let's see. Where's Elliot? Is Elliot Pineda here? Elliot's not here. Okay, he didn't make it up. So we do 600 events last year and over 650 planned this year. And last night we had a Tucson event, and I know he's driving up. So Elliot, you'll see tonight. What I wanted to bring up is the concept of nearshoring in IT side. So there are resources here that can help you with that. There's at least two. And then I believe the Collectron people are here as well. Where are you? So Susanna Gascioli is here, and you spoke yesterday's event at Global Chamber Tucson about similar type of offering. One of the kind of unique things about Global Chamber, number one is we're in 525 cities around the world. Number two is Susanna and Marian are in the same business. They do a lot of the same kind of work, and they're friends. You know, they play well in the sandbox because they're capable and they're honest and they're professional and they work together and they're out to supply great service. And so either of those companies is great. We don't prefer either. And a lot of that mindfulness comes from this lady right here, actually, Malia. You're going to be talking at Global Chamber, and I think in about 2 weeks. Could you just introduce 30-second introduction of positive intelligence? Because this is kind of something that's changed my life, and this young lady has been instrumental in that.
Well, thank you, Doug. Thank you, everyone. So Malia Monaco with Positive Intelligence. We are an app-based mental fitness program, which is a cutting-edge business strategy. Mental fitness is not a luxury. It is something that is very important for us to be able to do, to have higher performance as well as better well-being. And really cultural understanding and cultural empathy so that we can work better and play better in the sandbox together. So thank you, Doug.
So sorry to surprise you. That wasn't planned, but I saw you over there, and I appreciate both Marian and Susanna both for your leadership. Let's move on to Intel. So our next speaker is an old friend and a member of Global Chamber, Jason Bagley, Senior Director, State Government Relations at Intel, and he has some things to talk about the market, about Japan, and about Arizona.
Intel was invented by some visionaries over 50 years ago here in the United States, and they invented the microprocessor, and this company brought that to the market and really launched and strengthened the semiconductor industry. Silicon Valley was really had its start through Intel, and since then we had a hand in creating the Silicon Desert, the Silicon Forest, the Silicon Isle, the Silicon Oasis, and most recently the Silicon Heartland, among other places where we have been investing and growing our industry. And here in Arizona, we have been a part of the Arizona landscape for over 40 years now, and participating and working with Arizona to help strengthen Arizona. And it's been a fabulous place for Intel over the years and continues to be. There are few companies in the world who can do what Intel does. And this chart that you can see, it shows a number of great semiconductor companies on the left. As you move toward the right, fewer and fewer of these companies are able to produce leading edge technology, and the reason is it's just so expensive. It is such a capital intensive business that very few companies can do this. You can see on the right-hand side, the cost of building a fabrication facility is just skyrocketing. It's now costing well over $10 billion just to build a fab. These fabs are not small, they're massive. The clean room space where all the manufacturing takes place is roughly 4 football fields in size. They are huge and require tremendous investment. And there are really only 3 companies on the planet that can operate and have the capacity to invest the capital on an ongoing basis to be relevant with the leading edge technologies, Samsung, TSMC, and Intel. And Arizona is home to 2 of the 3 global giants in the semiconductor industry. And there are many other semiconductor players in Arizona as well. But it is very important to recognize that those who are at the leading edge of this industry are choosing to invest in Arizona in a big way. And I just want to pause for a moment and point out that Japan has been a critical partner in the semiconductor industry. Japan has capabilities and competencies that are unparalleled in this industry, and Intel, among others, rely heavily on Japan.
Jason Bagley of Intel, fellow University of Utah graduate, and perhaps that's facilitated their membership. There's a question, Consul General Sone, about Japan, and Charles is monitoring the 245 people signed up for the video conference, so they're out there and somewhere, and they have a question.
Thank you, Doug. So the question is, what will be done in Japan to strengthen the Japanese semiconductor supply chain in the interest of private-public partnerships?
That's a complicated one.
I think I just briefly touch upon that now that the Japanese government, together with US, is very much looking into the more possibility of further collaborations at the government level. Domestically, of course, the Japanese government put very much emphasis on expanding the technologies for further advancing the semiconductors, so that we have very much a good collaboration with the private sectors and government. You know, in the past, of course, we used to be one of the leading manufacturer of the semiconductors, but it's been a little changing. But now you see that there are so many suppliers and equipment and chemicals and also some materials we can provide in to global market, so that we are very much working together and support Japanese companies, especially seeing those economic security issues is a very important aspect, so that the government is very much is supportive this industries, creating the stable and resilient supply and the production to that. For that, it will support the industry and the further expansion of the collaboration with the United States, especially.
Thank you, Consul General. We're now going to shift. We're about halfway. So those of you who are standing, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Have we lost anyone yet? Sanjeev asked that no one be taken to the hospital. But if you do need medical assistance, please let us know. Marian, if we'll dismiss you, but if Consul General, if you could stay and Chris could stay, and I'd like to invite, actually Joe is virtual, and then Tom, is it Tom Machi? I think I should have asked you how to pronounce that. And Gunjan. Where's Gunjan? Here's Gunjan. And Tom, are you here? Mackie, would you like to join us here at the front? But it's M-A-C-H-Y? Oh, there's a K. Oh, okay. I missed that. Sorry about that. User error with my pen. So we're now going to shift into the first panel, and it's primarily focused in on semiconductor. And I don't think I clarified this really completely, but what we're trying to get out of today is understanding the semiconductor opportunities, and hopefully you walk away with some connections and some opportunities that help you. Ultimately, we want to have, oh, hi, Joe. Oh, there's Joe. That's Joe Stockinus. Fantastic. He's the president of Semi Americas, and he'll be our first speaker. But Joe, I just wanted to cue this up a little bit in terms of sustainability. And this is actually a little bit personal to me, because I was a young engineer at DuPont, too young to be involved with Asia, but they sent me to Asia, and I was involved with the semiconductor industry 36 years ago. And I was a sustainability, clean up the world kind of guy. So I was maybe not in the right place at the right time, but sustainability is something that is now much more important than it was 36 years ago. And we're going to talk about that in this panel and in the next panel. And we're going to be talking about opportunities. Joe, you first. You've got a slide, and you're going to share a little bit about your perspective. Semi Americas you have your finger on what's going on in the semiconductor industry. What's going on? What should we know?
Doug, it's great to be here with you. Can you hear me clearly?
You're a little bit low volume.
Okay,
maybe the control room. Could you bump up the volume a little bit and maybe speak as loud as you can?
Okay. Okay, great. So thank you. It's a pleasure being here with you today. And I do want to build on the point made by, excuse me, Mayor Gallego, in that Semi very much appreciates that Phoenix truly is the city of the future. And with a great deal of help from GPEC and ACA, and several of the mayors in the greater Phoenix area, we have just had great support, and Semi will be bringing SemiCon to Phoenix in 2025. So SemiCon is, we have actually, Semi is a global organization. We have 7 SemiCons across the world, but we are moving the SemiCon to Phoenix in October of 2025. And it really is a reflection on just what we're seeing in the marketplace in Phoenix. And we really want to be a part of it, and really bring to the city of Phoenix in October It will be a wonderful opportunity. This is the premier networking opportunity in the semiconductor industry each year, Semicon West. So we're really pleased to be working with the team in Phoenix. I'll get things started in a very positive way. First of all, just to share with you who SEMI is. SEMI is the principal global trade association for this entire semiconductor supply chain. We have been around for more than 50 years. And we, as I mentioned, very much global. Our industry is very global, but there's an awful lot going on here in the US, awful lot of investment, as several folks have mentioned already today. But I want to share with you a little bit of just what's driving that investment and what we expect it to look like. So this slide, if you could index it one more time, just hit enter one more time, please. There you go. Okay, great. So you can see the numbers up close as to what we expect for 2030. And it's great that we're at Thunderbird today, a business school, because what you see there, if you look to the far right of the blue graph, this is truly a well-known business school term. It's a hockey stick. It's the type of growth everybody gets excited about, and it's here and it's now for us in semiconductors. So I've been involved in semiconductors since the mid 80s. And it's been a very exciting place to work my entire career. And we've been a growth industry the entire time. You go back into the 80s where this chart starts, and it's been a very exciting growth industry for that length of time. So we've grown from a very small industry to about $400 billion in sales in 2020. But what's really exciting is that now, as we look to this decade, expectations are that we're going to grow by over 2.5 times, and we'll finish this decade at $1 trillion. The numbers you see here in front of you are SEMI's numbers. But last month at ISS, our Industry Strategy Symposium, we had a number of market analysts present, and every one of them presented a number over $1 trillion by the end of this decade, which is just phenomenal growth. And as folks have mentioned earlier, semiconductors are used everywhere, but we see really exciting things happening in the market, the things that are driving our market today. First of all, mobility, automobiles. So the automobile is becoming, actually, rather than, it's becoming a lot of semiconductors on 4 wheels. And it is driven by a number of things that are going on. The move to EV requires some very advanced semiconductors. People want larger, they want to be able to drive farther distances and charge their vehicles in less time. And to do that, they need to use very high voltage to charge the batteries. And the semiconductors that are required there have to work under those conditions. So it's really creating some very interesting demand for new semiconductors, referred to as power semiconductors, and creating new opportunities for materials like silicon carbide and gallium nitride semiconductors. The number of sensors and entertainment devices that are used in automobiles, it just expands at a very rapid rate for the next 10 years. And that will take advantage of what we refer to as the 90 nanometer and above, the more routine manufacturing of semiconductors, and great growth opportunities there. Further to that effect, we will see autonomous driving in the next 10 years. And in order for an automobile to drive itself and act faster than the human mind and be safer than a human driver, you will need our most advanced semiconductors. And that's what's taking place in Phoenix with the investments by TSMC and Intel. They will make the most advanced semiconductors ever made, and they will fit into that market nicely. That market for semiconductors in automotive is complemented by AI, big data, Medtronics, and also Industry 4.0, the implementation of a great deal of memory and analysis in manufacturing around the world. And that's what really allows us to be very confident across the board, all the market analysts seeing a growth from a $400 billion industry growing to $1 trillion in this decade. And we're here, we're part of it. I will mention, it is a bit of a rocky road at times. Right now, you know, we're still getting through chip shortages for automotive, and we are having some other issues where we've had maybe some a bit of a disruption in our supply chain. But if you look long term, you're going to see a very nice growth curve and a very exciting market for semiconductor. And again, as you mentioned early, Doug, they're used everywhere, and they'll be used everywhere and even more as the industry grows through this decade. So again, a little bit to get everyone excited about. I hope this provides an opening for us to start off our panel on what's going on with semiconductors and why we're so excited about it.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Would you like to give him a round of applause for his summary? So I'm one thing you'll notice about Global Chamber outside of this event is that almost always, half the time at least, women are speaking or part of. So if you go to Global Chamber LinkedIn group or the chapter, you'll see that women are very deeply integrated. And two of my favorite women are right here, actually on the front row. Mijong Hibbets, who's the Global Chamber Executive Director of Baltimore, Washington, with Dr. Catherine Zhang, who is an attorney who helps on the immigration side with Taiwanese companies and other companies from Asia. So you guys know each other or not? This is the first time?
We connected on Zoom so many times.
Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Catherine Jiang. I kind of sitting here, I regret I changed my direction in my career. I did the physics under. I wish I had stayed so I could understand more of that, but I'm a lawyer now. And what I really want to see is when you are talking about $1 dollars, $1 billion, $1 trillion of investment, the last thing in your mind would be visas. However, there are almost 50 types of visas in the US. And when you come in a wrong visa, and when you talk about, $1 billion investment, you suddenly found yourself, you couldn't do many things. I have seen Taiwanese companies, they send multi-million-dollar equipment here. However, they couldn't send installers because they didn't really make that. And also when you deal with immigration services, it can take 12, 20 months and they don't care. They don't care. You need to do installation next month. So I hope you are aware of this case situations. When you talk about business, you should ask your HR to reach out to immigration law firms while you are doing the important part, and then your HR will be handling visas, all those logistics, so they do not become your bottleneck in your business dealings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zhang. What's your reaction so far from what you've heard? You know a lot of this, right? Any thoughts so far? This is Mijong.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mijong Hibbet. I'm actually the Executive Director of a Global Chamber in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore area. So just like Doug, he works hard for companies all around the world in 525 metros. I am helping the member companies in our region to grow and get connected with all over the world, Mexico, Japan and Asia and all other places. This is a very interesting topic, and I came here to be here and actually engage in conversations with the industry stakeholders as well as a representative here, because DC and Baltimore area is also really technology, high tech, and a lot of companies are very hungry to grow and connected with the world. So if we have any chance later on, I'd love to actually get connected with each one of you and talk about businesses for growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mijong. Mijong and I have a special connection because she's from Busan, South Korea, which was actually the first city that I visited overseas. And I was just like, wow, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I love Busan. And that's an extra special connection that we have. Tom Mackey is a Senior Vice President of SUMCO, not some company, but SUMCO. Used to be part of Sumitomo, as I understand. And he's a local leader here, but also a global leader. And you've got some things you'd like to say. Would you like to come up here, Tom? Fantastic. This is Tom Mackey.
Right, thank you, Dick. It's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you, Honorable Sone, Consul General Sone, for participating today, and also Mike Kelly, Senator Kelly, and Mayor Gallego. Thank you for participating. On behalf of Sumco, we appreciate the chance to be here, be invited, and give you a brief summary of who we are and what we're doing and what our mission and purpose is. Okay, next slide. So we're one of the largest manufacturers in the world of polished and epi wafers that are needed to make semiconductors. We have manufacturing sites in US, Japan, Taiwan, and Indonesia. Our US headquarters is in Phoenix, and our worldwide headquarters are in Tokyo, Japan. Sumco Corporation was established in 1999. We have a history many years before that based on mergers and acquisitions of some very well-known companies who pioneered the growth of silicon crystals and the making of silicon wafers. The invested capital is 199 billion yen, which is about 1.6 billion US dollars. Our consolidated annual sales are 441 billion yen, or about 3.5 billion US dollars. We employ 8,469 people worldwide, and our 2022 EBITDA, or profit, was 169.5 billion yen, or about 1.4 billion US dollars. Okay, next slide. Okay, wafers are the start of a value chain of many important electronic products that are used in many different and planned products that impact our everyday lives. This is the depiction of the product wheel, and it shows you how some of the applications are used, from cell phones to computers, to autos, to cameras, TVs, and for data centers and network computing. Next slide. Okay, from 1980, the markets for the wafers, this is just the wafers, not semiconductors, has grown at a compounded annual growth rate of about 8.5%. Over the years, we have seen some events that have changed the market trajectory caused by, of course, the 2000 dot-com bubble, the 2008 Lehman shock, and of course, the recently pandemic. Semiconductor companies, therefore, have often had to manage through growth years and declining years. Next slide. This is a depiction of our production process. It's shown in this diagram. We first produce a silicon crystal ingot by melting a polysilicon in a furnace, and then we grow the crystals to single crystals of silicon, which are then sized and sliced using wire saws, lapping, polishing, and then we clean and package the wafers for sale to the semiconductor manufacturers. We produce the ingots, mainly shown in the bottom picture. We produce the ingots of 100 millimeter. These are the legacy ingots to 200 millimeter. Then we make the subsequent wafers of that size. And now we're also producing and have been producing the 300 millimeter, which is the high demand wafers for the growth of the semiconductor industry. Next slide. These are some pictures of our production process. The picture on the far upper left is the growing of the single crystal silicon. We melt the polysilicon in a furnace, and then we grow the crystals. The next slides kind of show the slicing, the wire saw slicing. Oh, no, excuse me, go back. The next picture I meant shows the wire saw, and then there's a picture of the lapping of the wafers, which removes the wire saw cuts. And then we go into mirror polishing and then cleaning and final packaging of in the wafers in cassettes, which are sent to the semiconductor companies to apply the semiconductor chip outlines. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is a picture of how the industry consolidated over the years. As I mentioned, Sumco was a combination of several companies. It started out with Sumitomo Acidics, Mitsubishi Materials, and Camacho, and eventually became Sumco Corporation. We have the other competitors in our market, Shinichi, Siltronics, SK Siltron, and then a combination of businesses that made up Global Wafers. Okay, next slide. This is a picture of our Sumco network. In Japan, we have 8 factories that are from the north and south of Japan. And also our worldwide network is shown here. In the US, we have a wafer manufacturing plant in Phoenix and an epitaxial wafer operation in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We also have plants in Taiwan and Indonesia. Recently, Sumco announced the acquisition of Mitsubishi Materials polysilicon business, which is a critical supplier for our polysilicon and chemicals that we need. The acquisition will be completed at the end of this March of this year. Next slide. This is our vision: to be the world's best in technology, maintain stable profit even during economic downturn, to empower employees to be profitable, and to be competitive in our overseas markets. Next slide. Okay, this is a picture of our Phoenix facility. It's located in North Phoenix on about 100 acres. It employs 470 people, and it began operations in 1997. And in the last 25 years, we've produced over 60 million wafers. Okay, next slide. So currently, we're navigating many of the things that we already know about: the economic headwinds of the US-China chip war, mainly the sanctions and tariffs that have been imposed, the inflation and the bank rates, the impact of the Russian invasion of Ukraine on our energy and material costs, the inventory changes that have been occurring because of the pandemic effects of logistics and labor, and the positive, of course, impacts of the CHIPS Act. And of course, the need for more semiconductor workforce development programs. Thank you. That concludes my presentation today. Thank you, folks.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Gunjan Bagla. He gave a somewhat similar conversation as he's doing today in Los Angeles at Global Chamber LA in a restaurant. So the food is a consistent theme in Gunjan's presentations. He's going to give us a very brief view of India, a conversation about semiconductor and industrial and some of the other things we're talking about in Asia would not be complete without an expert, and Gunjan is the deepest, knowledgeable, most expert person I know about India. So Gunjan, please, after you.
Thank you, Doug. And talking about food, I had the opportunity to experience the best Japanese food I've ever eaten a couple of days ago. Thank you so much, Consul General Sone, for hosting me at your home. This is the second time we are meeting this week. My name is Gunjan Bagla, but for my Japanese friends, you can call me Gunji. I think they all know what that means. That's what I used to be called when I was younger. Next slide, please. So Japan and India have had very close ties, actually going back thousands of years. But the story of India is best told through movies, right? Some of you might know that a movie called RRR just won the Golden Globe for the best song, Natu Natu, and they've now been nominated for an Oscar for the same song. So back many years ago, when Bollywood didn't have much money, but they were still making interesting movies, there was one called Love in Tokyo. Okay, and it really influenced me at an early age. At that time, they couldn't even afford to hire a Japanese actress, so an Indian actress named Asha Parekh was dressed up to look Japanese. They've gone much further now, of course. The connections I want to lay out, first of all, some of you might be familiar with the Quad, the informal dialogue or connection between Japan, India, Australia, and the United States to come together for many causes, supporting democracy and security in the Asia-Pacific region. What you might not know is that India's largest car company is not an Indian or American or European company. It's actually Suzuki Motors, and they have more than half of the car market in India. It's amazing. They are now getting into producing electric vehicles. We heard earlier about how EVs are going to be such an important part of the growth of the semiconductor business. And you will see India producing EVs in very high volume very soon. In fact, Consul General Sone, the last year in India actually produced more cars. So they sold more cars in India than they did in Japan, which is something I could never have imagined would happen. Okay. India is among the top 5 economies in the world now, which was also very hard to think about just a few years ago. And I've listed some other things. I'm not going to read them all to you. Japan and India are collaborating on building the first bullet train in India, going from India's largest city, Mumbai, to the city of Ahmedabad. And the Japanese government, again, has a program to finance that over an incredible 50-year period. Okay, I think in the US, we think about the next quarter. The government of Japan thinks of the next 50 years. It's amazing. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so talking about semiconductors, look at the picture on the top. Okay, we heard about gallium nitride. You know, we think of semiconductors as simply silicon, right? But there are many other materials. And in the EV business, in the power electronics business, silicon carbide and gallium nitride are going to be extremely important. Well, 2 friends of mine, Indian Americans pictured there, Umesh Mishra and Primit Parekh, started a company called Transform. Transform has a fab in Japan. Okay, you see the picture on the left shows where the fab is located. They're producing gallium nitride on sapphire in this factory, which they purchased from Fujitsu a few years ago. Okay, the Indian government claims that 20% of all semiconductor engineers in the world work in India. Now, there are no fabs in India at this point, but these people are supporting the design of chips. They're supporting the manufacturing, testing, packaging, all of those functions. Okay, you see some of the numbers listed there on the right side. You know, Intel has 16,000 employees in India. Qualcomm has 14,000, and some of the other companies are also listed there. Okay, not all of those people are doing semiconductor design, but a substantial number of them are. Okay, so we don't think about these things sometimes when we think about India. We think of call centers and we think of low-cost IT software, but there's a lot more going on there. Okay, the Indian government in the end of 2021 announced the India Semiconductor Mission, supported by the Prime Minister, and it's one of their highest priorities of this government. They've offered $10 billion in subsidies, and they're having very active conversations with all of the players in the semiconductor business, essentially to build out India's capabilities for its domestic market, as well as India as a location for the globe. Okay, so you'll see the announcement at the bottom. This is just from a few weeks ago. On January 31st, an Indian semiconductor team came to Washington and met with the Semiconductor Industries Association of the US and put out the headline that you see over there. Okay, I will be at the reception tonight. If you have questions about India, I'll be happy to take them on. And I'm sure that many of the Japanese companies here who are not yet doing business in India will be doing so very soon. And so happy to answer any questions from any of you. Thank you.
My hope with Global Chamber when I started it, I'm also the founder, was that we could develop a trusted network around the world. And so it's amazing that we can meet extraordinary people like Gunjan, who knows so much and is professional and honest and has integrity. That's really important when you're doing business around the world, like all the people here. One of those people, I don't see Vince. He must have just did Vince, there he is. So Vince Thielander and Karen Badish of Bank of America are 2 key leaders within Global Chamber. Vince was really important in the beginning as I was starting it because he believed in what we were doing and believed that more people needed to be doing global business. And something he said finally got me going. I'm not sure if I've articulated it this way before, but he said, you know, here at Bank of America, we have all of these great services, and so many exporters don't take advantage of it. Many don't know about it, but many, even when they know about it, they don't take advantage of it. And we see that a lot. The lack of knowledge for exporters to know what they need to be doing, and the lack of action. So Vince, thank you for mentioning that, because I thought if Bank of America is struggling with that, what about everybody else? We all struggle with that, right? Getting our word out of what we can do to help and then actually get someone to do something. It's hard. Karen Bedish is Senior VP at Bank of America, and she's working with some of the Taiwan companies and I think some of the Japanese companies as well. I know you have some observations. What are your observations from what you're hearing today?
Thank you, Doug. I was going to introduce Vince. So Karen Bodish, commercial banker in our business banking line of business, and Vince Thielander is our market executive. He and I have worked together for 15 of my 40 years at the bank. One of the things that Doug and I talked about was resources available to businesses, and we have a lot of them. We're a large enterprise, so it's probably notable to mention that we are part of an organization called Leadership Council. You do not need to be a client of Bank of America to take advantage of that. I'm happy to organize an introduction. We offer some translation services at the bank for a collection of different languages. We also, Vince and I have been working together to identify associates in market that can help our new members to Arizona, the suppliers from Taiwan, and including from Japan. So wanted to mention that in terms of translation services. And then we also collectively build out a network of professional other colleagues from other organizations, such as fractional CFOs, attorneys, CPAs. And just this morning, I'd like to mention that we met with Alan Rush, and I believe he's sitting over in a chair over in the corner. He's with KBKG. And we had a very interesting conversation this morning regarding transfer pricing. It's a kind of, gets a little complicated. I'm not going to try to explain it, but we invite you to contact either one of us if we can help with resources. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our last speaker on this panel is Chris Camacho. He's already given some opening remarks, but he's got some more things he'd like to say. And I'd also, Chris, I know we didn't talk about this, but Secretary Raimondo yesterday had some comments about what's next with the CHIPS Act. And you are like the smartest guy that I know. So I know you're probably all up on that. Love to hear your reaction.
Yes, so I'll talk first about, and I don't know if the slides will come up, but we had the chance, or I've had the chance for the last 3 commerce secretaries to serve on the International Advisory Council. And so recently, as Doug mentioned, this week, Secretary Raimondo provided a bit of additional color as to how the CHIPS Act process will get rolled out. And I believe even on the 28th, there's going to be more information forthcoming, but a couple of the clear declarations that the Secretary made that I think is going to be important for many of the foreign firms. She referenced the importance of the international and domestic collaboration that's going to be required to file for those resources. So you have a primary bucket that's largely going to go, that $52 billion, that's going to go to the foundries. There's going to be a significant portion that's going to go to the supply chain, but that supply chain, it's going to be recommended heavily that if they're international or foreign company, to be tied into the domestic companies as well as other university and state level partners. And so again, as I've served on her International Advisory Council for the last year, since she moved into that role, we couldn't be more excited, as Senator Kelly referenced, to have the CHIPS Act in full form, of which as well, if you're tracking that closely, there's roughly $11 billion in what I'd characterize, and they probably wouldn't characterize it this way, but think of it as a new American or federal lab for semiconductors. Most likely there's going to be multiple major hubs that will be announced across the country. We believe that Phoenix as a market is certainly a formidable location for that investment to really drive the future of semiconductor chip advancement, notwithstanding the fact that we're going to talk a little bit about TSMC and Intel very briefly. But again, our initial inception of semiconductors actually dates back to the 1950s. So very different from the relationship I heard of hundreds of years between India and Japan. We're a young state. We're 110 years old as a state, but our early adoption of semiconductors started with Motorola. and has now advanced to so many other companies, with Amcor doing packaging, Sumco, as it was mentioned. Major cogs in the semiconductor machine are already here. There's actually 100,000 employees here in Metro Phoenix working in semiconductor and related enterprises. And there's over 100 firms that already operate in semiconductors and advanced electronics here in the region. So if you go to the next slide here quickly, I promise I'll be very brief because I know we have a lot of speakers today, but this will draw your attention to the scale of investment. So as it was said, I believe in the Semi USA slides, the three major companies furthest along in advanced chip production at the most significant scale are TSMC, Intel, and Samsung. And for the last 7 years, GPEC, along with the Commerce Authority, our previous governor, Governor Ducey, worked very closely with the previous federal administration as well as the current administration under President Biden to support TSMC's expansion with Mayor Gallego, as she referenced. That's a $40 billion investment for the first two fabs. So the 4 and 3 nanometer scale will be produced in the state of Arizona and exported to the world. And a lot of times, I was on a call today with the Wall Street Journal talking about why is that happening? Why is it happening? Why is it now? The United States has really shifted its global dominant position in the 1980s, where we produced 40% of the most advanced chips, to today we produce 12% of those chips, none of which are the most advanced chips in the world. So hence our interest in moving this back on US soil, and with partners like Japan, like India, like many other countries that have been referenced today. This is going to build a patchwork of global supply chain that will certainly not only support our Department of Defense military, but so many other consumer devices that we have an appetite as Americans here in the US. So as you can see here, I'm not going to read all the talking points, but also Intel came into the market in 1979, as Jason Bagley mentioned. I've worked with him for a number of years. When they came into Chandler, has anybody been to the Chandler location, Nakato campus? Obviously one, quite a few of you. I kind of laugh and jest because those were cattle raising farm fields in the 1970s. And now those locations in the Southeast Valley is some of the most dense tech hubs of anywhere in the United States. If you drive up north, has anybody seen the 30 cranes in the air at the Taiwan Semiconductor campus? I-17 in North Phoenix? That location will be the future, one of the future hubs of commerce in the United States, where you have over 10,000 acres available for development. And I think it was the mayor, someone referenced a technology park that is going to house a number of these key suppliers, but there's already been 19 suppliers announced across the valley. I saw Peoria, city of Peoria here. Many other cities are also reaping the benefit of TSMC, and now there are 18 or now 19 public suppliers coming to the valley in chemicals, substrates, many other industries supporters, but also there's 22 others in our pipeline ready to make those investment decisions. So my guess is that we're going to be one of these major domestic hubs as we see companies wanting to continue to double down here in our community. All right, I only have 2 more slides here. If you go to the next one quickly. So you may ask, why is that happening here? We talked, as I mentioned, as I introduced Jack earlier, we put together an intentional business plan and roadmap for this region's economy back in 2011. And we've been able to fast forward that economy with very pro-business policy, a regulatory environment very attractive, looking at the taxation relative to operating costs for advanced industries. And those of you that are not tax people, this may not mean much to you, but I will tell you, we've lowered for capital intensive industries, we've significantly lowered the tax burden to operate not only in the United States, but operate here in Arizona with a bill last year that reduced significantly the personal property tax liability as low as anywhere else in the United States. So as you invest more, you're going to have lower tax liability in our state than many other states. Now, what has that done over time? Just in the last short few years, it's induced a number of leading companies, not only in semiconductors, but also in other advanced electronics, certainly electric vehicles, energy storage devices as well. As I was mentioning earlier to a colleague here, LG Energy out of South Korea is building a major factory down in Queen Creek, Arizona, right near the Intel plant, or right down the road from the Intel plant. That'll be a multi-billion-dollar facility. As you can see, not referenced here because it's so new, but Core Power doing a battery manufacturing facility, Intel with 11,000 employees with a recent expansion. Lucid Motors has not only a primary site, if anybody's seen the Lucid cars that compete kind of head to head with our colleagues at Tesla, I heard earlier. We've seen them double down in Casa Grande, and then Electromechanica is a publicly traded company out of Canada. moving their solo car division for OEM manufacturing here in the community. And companies like XRO and many others have also moved to the market over the last few years. So I've been here for 15 years, so I've seen this massive metamorphosis change in this region. And I've been so fortunate to work with almost now 500 companies that have relocated from around the world that have created 97,000 new jobs in the last 15 years, all in advanced industry and technology. So talking about seeing a market sea change before your eyes, that's what's happening here today. Fast forward 15 more years, we will be the global, maybe global, certainly domestic hub of technology interest for the country to augment Austin, Texas, to augment Silicon Valley. So if you go to the final slide here, you can't build a global leading technology position without the ecosystem. And we just have a number of companies here recognized. I'm not going to walk through them all, but we sought out years ago to go meet with a number of these leading companies to figure out where do they fit within the supply chain or the ecosystem or the value chain for our leading foundries. And then where do we find gaps in our delivery system in terms of science, technology, engineering, and math workforce, or making sure we're evaluating policy to ensure that we're making the right decisions so that we can continue to cultivate not only growth companies or not only leading companies, but also growth companies and startups and access to capital. So this whole continuum, think of it like a flywheel. There's no stop in Arizona right now. And we're going to continue to make the right strategic investments while we're continuing to nurture this overarching supply chain. So if you're a company from out of market that's interested in learning more about investing here, about going through a risk assessment, going through a cost or labor analytics or tax or incentive assessment, that's what our team does every day. So I have two of my colleagues here, Sean and Casey are here. If you want to go through a deep dive on any of those elements, that's what we're here for. And we want to be a resource for you. And we'll continue to work with Doug and his team. But again, I wanted just to finish my comments with, this is something we're very serious about, positioning Greater Phoenix as not only a hub of domestic inward investment, but making sure we're opening up doors around the world for these kind of key partnerships. And so this is just the beginning. And we're going to continue to cultivate those opportunities going forward. So with that, thank you very much, Doug, and I'll hand it back to you.
Casey, are you here? Where's Casey? Raise your hand. Casey Gilchrist is on the Regional Advisory Board for Global Chamber. And another leader who's joining is Vinny Silvestri. I haven't seen you since pre-COVID. There you are. And we wanted to get a logistics perspective, and who better to speak with, although some others might object to that in terms of the best, but they're amazing expediters. What are you seeing on the logistics side, Vinny?
Well, sorry, take that from you. Good sandbox, right? Good sandbox. So, I mean, first of all, thank you, Doug. Thank you to everybody here. Chris, your group is fantastic. Love working with you guys. And honestly, everything that has been echoed today, we've seen in Phoenix alone over the past 3 years, really. I think the world has changed around us. It's caused a lot of companies to take a really hard look at their supply chain, their sourcing. Rates went up, chaos came to the market, and really what we've seen over the past 2.5, 3 years has been nothing short of dynamic in our industry, from ocean freight, air freight, warehousing, fulfillment, as well as trucking. So we do all of those things globally, 200 locations all over the world, representing a footprint of 350 plus facilities. In Phoenix alone, we've had to grow along with that. We've been in the Valley since the early 90s, and we've multiplied our facility footprint by 3 here in Phoenix, supporting over 7 facilities that we manage for companies that have needed to get closer to or further away from the issues that existed at the major ports and airports throughout the US. As we move into 23, what I'm seeing, and you guys will all be happy to hear, is that things are looking a little more normal. The ocean ports that have been challenged over the past 3 years are returning to a more normal state. Passenger travel as a whole, which really killed the air freight market, is helping. People are traveling again. That capacity is returning to the market and thus bringing rates back down to a little bit more of a normal place. Take away fuel, take away issues like that. But we're hoping for a more cyclical cycle. As we now emerge from Chinese New Year, things are looking a little bit more normal. So we've helped customers in a variety of ways here in Phoenix, whether it's getting their facility footprinted in a geography such as Phoenix. That is what we've always considered ourselves, East LA, right? We've always been East LA, but it's real, right? You get a day further inland, you get a day closer to your customers on the East Coast. The shift of inventory has happened, and people are taking a real hard look at us. And we've supported customers, kind of to Chris's point earlier, that didn't really take a look at Arizona a lot of times before. We have a supply chain solutions group that's helped take a hard look at their sales flows, material flows, and help place them in a place that really made sense for them. And it's funny how it pointed to Phoenix, but happy to be a part of that. So any questions we can answer for you, please let me know. And thank you, Doug, for having us. Appreciate it.
Vinny Silvestri of Expeditors. And so or now I have good news. The vendors at the garden are set up. They're ready for us. So in an hour from now, we're all gonna, some of us, be over there and enjoying some food and getting ready for the sake ceremony. We're now gonna transition to the next panel. So I would like, I think everybody up here except Consul General Sone, everybody will be dismissed. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it and all the information. And now we have the final panel, which could we get Akihiko Oma, I believe is here, the president and CEO of Toshiba America. We've got Paul Charles there in Utah. Thank you, Paul, for joining us virtually. We've got Paulina Gonzalez. Paulina, come on up, who is a regional director at American Industries. And we've got Munehiro Nozoe, who is also virtual from Nitto Denko. Oh, please. Are we taking random comments? No, but along the way. Okay. So the comment is about trains, right? And so yes, we would love a train. We'd love a train from Shinkansen to Tucson, and Barbara Coffey is back there with City of Tucson. If you need to get to Tucson, definitely talk to Barbara. She's working. Okay, well, there is a train system, and hopefully we can continue to work on that regionally. Probably talk to the mayor's office. And also, is there anybody from City of Phoenix here tonight? There's one of the people from the City of Phoenix is Odette, and she was sick, so she's virtual. So sorry, Odette, if you're listening, and also Christine, I don't think made it. So so we thank actually 4 key cities that are very strong 5 cities are very strong partners for Global Chamber here in Arizona. One is Tucson with Barbara Coffey representing. Another is Scottsdale, Phoenix, Peoria, and Surprise. So is anybody from any of the cities here, or are they all virtual? Anybody here? No? I see a hand over here. So who is this? Oh, Lexi. So we should at least introduce Lexi. So is Sky Harbor amazing or what? Come on over here, Lexi. So Lexi is not only a Thunderbird grad, but now she's key in attracting international airlines to Sky Harbor. So could you just give us a 30-second, like what's going on? And when are we going to get Tokyo direct flights?
Yes, exactly. That is certainly our #1 goal. Thank you, Consul, for being here today. And thank you all of you for your support with Sky Harbor and our efforts into expanding our international air service. I actually just returned from Asia with meeting with Asian carriers who are very interested in the Phoenix market. And actually Tokyo is our #1 target because of the historical demand between our 2 cities. So I always tell people that the airlines can see the historical data, right? They can see who has gone where by passenger tickets, but what they can't see is the future. It's all of the work that you all are doing in this room to make Phoenix a global city and to put us on that global stage, as well as what's going to be that development and the demand that comes from that. So I appreciate partnerships like this because it gives me an opportunity to speak to companies and industries and understand what the future looks like so I can relay that to the airlines. Thank you.
Keep up the good work. We need it. Ichiban, let's see. Oh, here we are. So Ichiban Yume na Hito, Ichiban Yume na Kaisha is Mr. Akihiko Oma, who is the president and CEO of Toshiba America. And so we decided to have him go first. He's the #1 most famous guy that it's many famous people in this room. And certainly everybody has heard of Toshiba America and Toshiba. Thank you so much for all that your company does. And we look forward to hearing more about some of the things that you're doing in the industry. Would you like?
Thank you, Doug. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oma, OMA, from Toshiba. Actually, Toshiba the Electronic Devices and Storage Corporation. We are manufacturing, designing, and selling semiconductors and hard disk drives. So it's very much exciting moment for us now. Nobody in this industry really focused on a semiconductor a long time ago. When I just joined Toshiba, like 30 years or more, nobody knows well about semiconductor. But now people say it's important. You can do nothing without semiconductor. It's very much exciting time. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present in this seminar. Thank you very much, Consulate General of Japan, of course. Nishigami-san, thank you very much for coordination. And thank you very much for Arizona State University, of course, Global Chamber. Thank you very much. Can you show my slide?
So Oma-san has some slides. I hope we have them. And what we're seeing on the screen are beautiful faces. Paul Charles, you know, I've seen that face enough. I don't need to see that anymore. And Nozoe-san is a first-time acquaintance, I think. So great to see you too. But I'm wondering if there are slides available, and maybe not. That would be sad, wouldn't it? So I'm not getting any messages. Hey, Cesar. So the Global Chamber is very virtual. And so Cesar Trabanco, who all the Global Chamber members know, is in Puerto Rico and he's running the show. And everything has worked out really well, but somehow we don't have this slide. So let's see, I'm getting a message. He doesn't have them. Oh, that's sad. Okay. So what would you like to do? You're a Yume na Hito, so probably anything that you say will be significant. And I'm so sorry. Gomen nasai. Shitsurei shimashita.
So last night I prepared around 25 pages of slides. And before going to the semiconductor part, I was briefly wanted to introduce our company overview. To let them know more, understand more about the Toshiba Corporation. We have 4 majority of business unit in Toshiba. One is semiconductor HDD, which I belong to, and the other 3 is infrastructure, which produce Shinkansen also, and solution company, and energy company who does like a power plant. Thank you. This is from Puerto Rico. Thank you very much. So next page, please. Skip the pages. Okay. This is a major product, hard disk drive. You can see at the back side of some table, I'm showing the products there. HDD and semiconductor is a major products. I would say we are contributing indirect to this world, climate change or less power consumption, all those using the power semiconductor. So I can compare with the TMC Intel for those cutting edge technology products, but we are focusing very much on power semiconductor, which I have several slides later. So next page, please. This is our focusing area. I think this slide is, anyway. This is the old version, maybe. So we have not only power semiconductor, we also have motor control related products. Recently nowadays, everywhere you have a small motor. For example, your hotel, you have a blind using the power, then that has a small motor. So everywhere you can find a motor. So we are focusing on motor drive IC also. Next page, please. And this is also our focusing products. Power MOSFET, as I said, one of the power semiconductor related. So, and also more high voltage powers are using for the power, creating power or saving powers. Next page, please. And this is what we are, as I said, focusing on power semiconductor area. As Sumko said, we are also started to use 300 millimeter silicon wafer and investing a lot to a factory in Kaga, Ishikawa Prefecture in Japan. And what was going to say? Yeah, 300 millimeters. We are going to expand more of our power devices. Next page, please. And this is a kind of a part I would say we are contributing to the world. We are focusing more on the number of products helping environmental related products and less for picking out those non-environmental friendly products with this vision and policy. Next page, please. And not only the selling components as a company, we are also trying to use less energy consumption from the procurement side to manufacturing side, which I'm not the specialist of left-hand side part, but everywhere we are trying to contribute to less energy, some components purchase and the logistics part also and selling part. I'm basically in charge of that selling part. Next page, please. And we also committed in 2030, 100% use renewable energy, 100%. And we started in semiconductor factory in Kaga and Oita. Earlier than that, 2026, you start to use that. I start to commit to 100%, and that's how we are trying to contribute to the changing world. So, as I said, power semiconductor is most important. Japanese companies still have a strong presence here in the power semiconductor field. So that's what I wanted to emphasize here. Next page, please. And this is last but not least, this is our company's group vision. Our semiconductor and storage products will always be driving a force to change the world. Thank you very much.
So now let's go to our virtual speakers and Paul Charles. Looking like Utah there, Paul. We brought Paul Charles. We brought Paul in today because he is the co-founder of American Battery Factory. And I don't know, it was like a couple years ago, he was looking for a place to put it. And so we were chatting, and he's a longtime acquaintance and member of Global Chamber. And he said, I'd love to look at Arizona. And lo and behold, they decided on where? Tucson, Arizona. Dude, thank you for a long career in global business and for the work that you've done with American Battery Factory. Could you just speak for a few minutes on why Arizona? What took you here, especially with Utah? I mean, those of us that have spent time in Utah, especially that part there in northern Utah County, where the mountains are really beautiful, that's tough to leave, but you decided on Tucson. What's going on? Tell us more.
Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And by the way, if you could look outside the window, there's over a foot of snow. So I'm very disappointed I don't have the opportunity to be in Phoenix today. It'd be a little bit warmer to say the least. Also, thank you for Thunderbird. Like you, Doug, I am not an alumnus. However, my oldest son is, and it's really been a wonderful foundation for him, from an educational perspective. In terms of why Arizona, it's an interesting journey that literally took about a year. This is for American Battery Factory, and little background on that is ABF's goal is to set up a whole network of clean and green battery factories across the US and then onshore the supply chain to America. There's a lot of correlation between the semiconductor business and the battery business in many different areas, but this electrification on a global basis is really driving both of those sectors. And so demand in one area is certainly correlated to demand in the other area on that. So in terms of why Arizona, we first put together a fairly extensive criteria list, of framework, shall we say, in which we could score each particular location. And this was a nationwide search. Eventually, we narrowed it down to about 12 states and then eventually 2 states. And then it just kind of dawned on us that we were comparing every other state's proposal to what really had been proposed from Arizona. Arizona was one of the first, if not the first state that we went to. And literally within a few weeks, they had turned around a beautiful 84-page color brochure that described multiple locations and why Arizona. And so that was one of the determining factors. They really understood what they were doing, and they had great success in building this ecosystem of electrification, in all these different sectors, from passenger electric vehicles to the commercial sector, even eVTOL and aviation on that as well too. The people in Arizona really understood what it meant to create this supply chain. And a couple of the key things also is the availability of power. And that is one of the critical items for both semiconductor as well as battery gigafactories. We require a massive amount of power. And unless you've planned ahead in today's environment to say, oh yes, this is a wonderful location, I'll bring the power in, that's just not going to happen. The supply chain on transformers and other types of things relative to power is years out. And the area that we were able to find in Tucson, they had actually spent the previous decade anticipating the need for a company such as the American Battery Factory. And so they had literally had all the utilities stubbed right to the location, which is at the air park there. They also went and committed to make sure that they could have the sufficient amount of power that was really necessary for that. The other thing I wanted to speak briefly about that's truly the game changer is the workforce. That is a very challenging environment across America, and particularly in systems that are incredibly automated, you're not getting these people off the street, shall we say. And so we partnered up with Pima Community College that just coincidentally will also have, I think next month is when they're planning to have their final approval and to be able to have a certificate of occupancy for a center of excellence for advanced manufacturing. And so the idea there is that they will have classes of which we will create the syllabus, and they'll really be able to train the workforce, so there'll be a constant flow of new people into the workforce. And these jobs in general for production, these are highly automated, very well paid, and we do not require high school diplomas on this as well too. And the final thing I really wanted to mention on this is that it was the people of Arizona at the state level, the county level, as well as the city level that really made the difference on this. An incredibly welcoming group of individuals that had great vision on this. And in December, we were our $1.2 billion gigafactory, our first one, which will also be the headquarters, along with an R&D center, and obviously the first of many pods for the manufacturing of batteries was approved 21-0. And so we're very appreciative of really having the opportunity to work with such visionary people.
Thank you, Paul. I'm going to come back to Barbara Coffey to have her reaction, but I've been listening to Paul for 2 years at that level of excitement and intensity, and so now you get to feel his passion as well. About Tucson, where we were last night. Barbara, what do you think?
It's a tremendous opportunity and really to be part of this ecosystem. So I'm excited that we can welcome American Battery Factory to kick that off and really to bring, I think, Phoenix and Tucson together in this effort. And I think if we work together, we're going to work smarter and we're going to have more to offer.
Awesome. Thank you. Barbara Coffey runs economic development for City of Tucson. Don't forget Tucson has great Mexican restaurants, which we learned again last night. I think the 4th really great Mexican restaurant that we went to last night. Did I forget you? I hope I didn't forget you. Oh my goodness. So actually, who was I going to go to next? I think you're not quite yet forgotten. Don't worry, Paulina. I was going to go to Nozoe Son next, so sorry about that. So Nozoe Son with Nito Denko, and I forget the name of the actual company that it's part of. He's sick. And so he almost didn't appear here today, but he was good enough to be able to present today. And so Nozoe-san, thank you so much for sharing today. We like to hear more. This is about water savings, I think, which is such a critically important topic for Arizona.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Dozo.
Yep. Thank you very much for introduction of myself and our company of Nito Denko. My name is Munehiro Nozoe. I'm a marketing manager from Hydronautics, membrane manufacturer. Next slide, please. I'm not sure how many of you know about Nito Denko. So let me quickly touch on our company. So Nito was founded in 1918 and currently is comprised of 99 companies worldwide. We create approximately 13,500 products in 70 different markets. Next slide, please. We are organized into 3 main sectors, such as optronics, industrial applications, and human life solutions. So we, Hydronautics, falls under human life solutions. So our product is a membrane filter, which is shown at the right hand side. Next slide, please. So this is our history. We at Hydronautics was established in 1963, and actually Hydronautics was acquired by Nito Denko, Japanese company, in 1987. So we had over 50 years of experience in membrane technology since 1960s. Next slide, please. So this is regarding contribution of our business to sustainable development. So we are focusing on 5 different items of SDGs. So we believe our technologies is providing solutions to resolve global issues to contribute to sustainable development worldwide. Next slide, please. So our products are serving solutions to those different industries. Semiconductor is definitely one of key industries where we focus on and do businesses. Next slide, please. So today, taking this opportunity, I'd like to talk about how essential water is in semiconductor industry. So so ultra pure water is required to avoid contamination of electronic devices in manufacturing processes of semiconductor. Yeah, I believe you know this fact very well. So a lot of ultra pure water is required to manufacture semiconductor. Yeah, so typically 2 to 4 million gallons of ultra pure water is used in semiconductor factory. Yeah. However, looking at the very large factories which are being built in Phoenix, so much more ultra pure water is required. Yeah. Not yet. Yeah. Then I was mentioning even larger amount of ultra pure water is required in the future, especially in Phoenix. While the amount of water available is gradually decreasing due to climate change. Yeah. So how can we secure even larger amount of water required to support semiconductor industry? So there are two solutions that I want to mention today. One is creation of new waters. Another is recycle of water. Yeah. So those will become more important in the future in semiconductor factory. Yeah, I'm very sure. So reverse osmosis membrane, which is the main product of hydronautics, and Nitodenko plays a very key role to remove salts from water in ultra pure water. And this reverse osmosis membrane can also be used to remove salts from water to create pure water, such as seawater, industrial wastewater, municipal wastewater, yeah, and reuse the industrial wastewater in the factory. So basically, 70 or 80% of wastewater, industrial wastewater, can be recycled within the factory by using this reverse osmosis technologies. So Nitodenko Hydronautics has been serving this reverse osmosis membrane to semiconductor industry since, I believe, 1980s or 1990s in Japan, Taiwan, and America, and some other countries, mainly in Asia. Yeah, as well as providing solutions to reclaim wastewater. For example, looking at the United States, we have some references of municipal wastewater reclamation in California. For example, City of Oceanside, where our factory is locating, and Orange County district. Those two areas are main references in terms of municipal wastewater reclamation. Yeah, and finally, I'd like to say, yeah, we need to then go ahead and this country to develop solutions to secure water for industry of semiconductor as well as other industries. Yeah, that's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Susanna. Paulina, I'm sorry. Paulina, would you like to go next? Yeah, please. Paulina Gonzalez is part of American Industries Group, and what we asked her to talk about was, you remember American Industries Group helps companies manufacture in Mexico, and there are a number of companies on the sustainability side that they help, and there are sustainability benefits by manufacturing in Mexico. Could you share a little bit of that with us?
Sure. Well, I was talking, hello everyone, thank you for being here and for the invitation here, Doug. I was talking to Doug about the investments and the decision-making process of where to locate your manufacturing. And as my colleague Marian already explained you, we do site selection studies of where in Mexico, but this can be obviously done in any country. The availability of energy, does the area, region, state, or city has a plan in the future of investing in the energy availability? Yes, they can have a capacity, but what's up to after 10 years, which is where you do the investments for long term. And then there's this was very good topic that recently mentioned, the water consumption is a big issue right now. I live in the northern Mexico, and we had a recent breakdown, let's say, of water resource, and that's what they're coming up to, the osmosis and the remedial of new wells and doing new ducts of water, and the plans of the government reacting immediately to whatever crisis like this comes when there is deficiency. So it's a topic that I considered suggest, and I've seen with companies, international companies, to push and leader the utility availability, and wherever you are located or managing your operations, to lead and push the government. I also have experience in being on the side of the government, and we need that, the companies pushing the government to lead and plan ahead of what's the next steps and do execute those projects. I mean, it's a lot of, yes, the energy efficiency, the energy consumptions, the renewable energy and everything, but where is it? Is it done? I mean, we do projects, there's a lot of support, and that really will depend on you, on your companies, to push the government and do it together. We have some experience also in Mexico with clusters, the academy, the government, and the businesses together to push and do the projects and do execute that. So it's just, my comment is the invitation to work together. It's at the end, it's your investment, a big benefit for the city, region of wherever you will locate your business. But also, well, it's people that needs to also get benefit. You're a basic product of a key industry, the electronic and all of the what comes up, and that will be requiring the semiconduction. So the cost is always very important. We're always looking up to your cost is efficiency, labor, location, the real estate cost, and also utilities cost. So understanding that all costs will go up, who's going to buy that? And we need to worry also about that. Who will be your consumer, and what would be their budget to buy your product? So you're a part of that product, and we need to make the best efficiency, which I know you do, and but also work to get that cost reduced with or work for a better efficiency and production. So that's what's my participation on this.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Thank you. The sun is setting, and that means we're headed to the garden here in a few minutes. And actually, we're just have a few more people we'll speak with. One person, Sal, that's here, I think, are you doing some stock quotes or something? Sal, I just met fairly recently, new member of Global Chamber, but what I understand is he's been working with the consulate for quite a while, helping companies land in the US with a variety of services. And Sal, your booth is here, right? No, it's over here. It's number one table. Before you leave for the garden, definitely do one more round around the table. Sal, thank you for joining us and from LA, and your company does business all over. Thanks for joining Global Chamber. Could you tell us just a little bit more about what we need to know?
Thank you, Doug. I'm pleased to be here. It's an honor. We are a Relo Redac Corporation based in New York. We're the third largest relocation services in the world. We have offices throughout the world. We help people with relocating from Japan to the United States or to Europe or Asia. We have a research company telling companies how much exactly it will cost an expat to come from Japan to United States. We have a translation company as well. A lot of companies are looking for legal translation paper documents, we can help with that. And we are commercial and real estate agents. So if you're looking for commercial properties, residential properties, we can help with that. And thank you so much. Thank you, Doug.
I love Japanese. Relocation services. Yeah, so relocation. Lots of R and L stuff going on there, right? So other than Sal, there he is, Shane. One of the things you need around moving around is employees and payroll and HR services, and Safeguard Global was one of the first members of Global Chamber. They're actually located in the UK, but their US headquarters is in Austin. And Shane was just kind of hanging out and over the years, and he's been just a great partner and really helping a lot of companies be successful, finding people and paying them, which is kind of important. Shane, thank you. Anything you'd like to share?
You bet, just for a couple of minutes. Hi, Shane Jacobs, Global Business Advisor with Safeguard Global. As we're talking about your businesses and expanding those into other countries, that's what we get into. We help solve the complexities of either A, finding talent in that new country, then once you found that talent, B, hiring them compliantly. And we can do that under our entity when you're not quite ready to set up a legal entity, when you're not quite sure if that's the right market, but you've managed to find a business development, someone in design, someone that you want to develop in that country. Let us handle all of that complexity of employing that person. And then when you're ready to plant your flag in that next country, we can help you figure out how to establish your legal entity, make sure that your taxes are filed properly, all the back office administrative stuff in that country. We really believe in the work from home can mean work in any country. And so as you look to find talent globally, we can help you make that a possibility. We believe in being global citizens. And so that's honoring and respecting the employment laws of those foreign countries in which your employees live in. And we're here to help you pursue that. So thank you so much. I'll be at the reception and would love to talk with you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you bet. Would you like to say something about Thunderbird?
Thank you for coming to my school. I'm an alum of Thunderbird. I was at what you consider the old campus in Glendale. But I tell everyone that asks me, what do you think about this new campus? Well, what do you think? In today's day and age, when you talk about people looking for an MBA program in global business, what do they want? They want high tech. They want opportunity to expand and broaden their horizons with people in other countries immediately. And so this building facilitates that. I'm so proud to be a T-Bird and hope that will continue to grow throughout the next coming years. So,
Shane Jacobs, thank you very much. Only a few more minutes before we talk to Kyoko Toyama about moving over to the garden. Kyoko, she's laughing. She always laughs at me. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's two commercial real estate people I want you to meet. Mark Pierce is one of them, Lee and Associates, I'm sorry. You're everywhere in the US, you've got global, and I think it was a text or a voicemail I called them, and the voicemail came back, I'm sorry I'm not available, I'm climbing a mountain in Peru. And hey, I'm from New York. I'm usually don't get suckered into things, but I got suckered into something. He's got a sense of humor too. You see a lot what's going on and you help a lot of people come to the Valley. What's going on?
Well, thank you and welcome everybody. It's just a tremendous, exciting time for this state. I feel like I can speak to this subject. I'm a fourth generation Arizonan, ranching family and farming family, and have seen the economy here grow from just basic industrial to a quantum leap in this semiconductor sector. And we're so pleased with all the growth because of the the semiconductor horsepower and the ecosystem that it brings. It's very exciting. So what I wanted to also say is, as Doug mentioned, my name is Mark Pierce. I'm one of the partners at Lee and Associates. We're a national full-service commercial real estate company, and we're kind of the boots on the ground in every market. We're the experts in the market. So we collaborate with other firms like Sal, so we'll have to talk later, Sal. But I wanted to mention some of the numbers and some of the value proposition to the doing business in Arizona. So some of it is obvious. There's qualitative and there's quantitative benefits. One, the qualitative is the weather is just fantastic. Year-round sports, outdoor activities, great schools, K through 12, even wonderful charter schools that are very attractive to some international students. And then our workforce is very, very deep and very high skilled. So we have a very good ecosystem or support system to support the semiconductor growth. The other thing is on the, one of the things that is very attractive to some of my clients is the short work commutes of 15 to 30 minutes to work. So that's very attractive to employees, especially for retention. The one thing that I wanted to mention on the numbers with regard to the commercial real estate and the numbers here, getting to it, Arizona has 410 million square feet of industrial property, of which there's 4.5% vacancy. The lease rates here are averaging about $1 per square foot versus our neighbors to the west in California at $1.90. So it's significant economic value. When I mentioned the short supply at 4.5%, the good news is there's help on the way. There's 49 million square feet of quality Class A industrial space, ideal for advanced manufacturing. So if you want any more information on commercial real estate, I'll be available at the garden at the reception.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Mark, you can clap. That was worthwhile. Absolutely. Great data. I'd like to now introduce another virtual. Looks like we have a couple people joined us, but the person I want to introduce is Shinichiro Suzuki. And I'm trying to think actually, I think he might have somehow found Global Chamber, and we had a chat and found out that I had been working at DuPont Automotive in Detroit at the same time he was there. I was an American in between expat assignments between Singapore and Tokyo, and he was a Japanese on an expat assignment in Detroit. We didn't know each other, but we did go to that restaurant on 14 Mile, which is, you probably remember the name of it. What was the name of that Japanese restaurant that everybody goes to on 14
Yeah, that
Mile?
was Nipponkai Dag-san.
Nipponkai.
Yeah, a
of
long
course.
time
Everybody
ago.
who's been to Nipponkai in Troy? Really? Nobody does automotive business? Seriously? If you ever do automotive, Alex, of course. Alex has been there. So Suzuki-san has gone from still a member and a renewed member, and he's also now our board chair for Global Chamber Tokyo. So we have 14 chapters in Japan, and that's thanks to a great work last summer by interns here at Thunderbird, and now taking over the mantle. We hope that today hasn't discouraged you from becoming an intern. We hope to continue, and you'll actually be in Japan this summer. So that's going to help. So Suzuki-san, thank you so much for joining. I just wanted to give you a couple minutes just to kind of give your perspective on what you've heard today, and also, and so it's Saturday morning in Japan, of course, but you help industrial companies into Japan, and you know a lot about companies leaving Japan for other parts of the world. What perspectives would you like to share today?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak in front of those people. It's an honor. And, I have been on the board of Global Chamber in Tokyo since recently. It's also, an honor. Well, answer your question, Doug-san, semiconductor business is one of the most growing business or industries in the world, as everybody knows. Without semiconductor in your life, almost nothing. No cell phone, no PC, no smartphone, nothing. So obviously, semiconductor business industry is one of the growing business in the world, and Japan is part of it. So it's really great And we have been helping overseas firms who wanted to do business in Japan. And we also recently started helping overseas Japanese companies to go overseas. So being a Global Chamber member, it's really great. And somehow, we met Doug-san, right? That was maybe a coincidence, but that was very fortunate for me. Now I'm here to be honored to speak with all the people in front. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And where is your office? Everybody has probably been to the place in Tokyo where your office is.
Well, my office is Roppongi, maybe well known for restaurants or nightlife or something.
Who has an office in Roppongi? I don't know. I've never worked with a company that had an office in Roppongi, but thank you. Now we're very proud to have you as a member and also all the work that you do. The other person on the screen is Mario Valenzuela. And, I have the best job in the world because we get to talk to people everywhere in the world, 525 chapters. So Mario is in Central America, but he works for a member in Chile, and they provide data for exporters. So, I mean, that excites me, when people are able to do that and you do it really well. Mario, you've only got a minute, but let us know about data, sir.
Hello, everyone.
I see.
Can you hear me correctly?
Oh, I see data, sir. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Doug, for the opportunity, and to all the Global Chamber community for being here. I'm going to briefly present our company and some study that we made for you all. So basically, DataSur is a digital information knowledge service experience that allows decision makers and their teams to create strategic and relevant decisions to have a successful international business strategy based on the reality of international markets. Our business proposal is specially designed for decision makers in 3 important sectors that would be importers, exporters, and the foreign trade facilitators. Our company offers offline and online access to the trade data of import and export of more than 70 countries in the world, empowering our clients with the following alternatives of analysis. We let them know the reality of the market and their position in the industry. We help them identify new business opportunities. We help them study their competitors' movements or analyze the national and international markets. We help them to find new clients or suppliers abroad. We offer also unlimited searches in our web platform for a complete analysis of the information that we offer. And we have also historic information for each country in our platform for our clients also to make a thorough analysis of the information that we offer. This is a small glimpse of what we do at DataSur, but now I'm going to take the time to present the information that we have. So in the following charts, I'm going to briefly present how the semiconductor market is behaving in the United States. For this specific study, we used a 4-digit HS code to provide information of the 7 specific products that are presented here in the screen. As we can see, of the total import value for these 7 products in 2022, it's a little bit over $2 billion, and with an increase of almost $200 million in relation to the 2021's total. Here it's important to mention Japan's position in the imports market, reaching the 4th place out of 117 countries that the United States is importing these products from in 2022. This also represents $179 million from the total amount imported that I just told before. Now, regarding the exports table, you'll see that the total exported value for these 7 products in 2022, it's around $2.3 billion, and it also had an increase in relation to 2021. Here, it's also important to mention Japan's position in the exports market, reaching the 6th place out of 187 countries that the United States is exporting these products to, representing $179 million from the total amount imported. I'd like to take here a little bit of time to thank you all for listening to this presentation and to basically offer you a free access to this information and to our web platform for 10 days to access all the import and export data for the United States and the rest of the countries that we have. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you, Mario. So Global Chamber members are the best. There's nobody better in the world. And he was we were thinking about doing something like this very vaguely. And then during this conference, while we've been meeting the last hour or so, we said, why don't you put together some data for the semiconductor industry? That's what he did. Oh my God. Okay, you're incredible. And thank you for being such a valuable resource. Hopefully some of you take advantage of the free 10 days accessing all sorts of data around the world. We do our best, and I've tried to do my best today. Did I forget any Global Chamber members that I promised I would introduce? Anybody raise your hand that I forget? Did I actually not forget anybody? Seriously? Except this guy? Jeffrey Garza Walker is a very appropriate person, I think, before we talk to Consul General Sone to make a final comment, and also Kyoko Toyama, because Jeffrey always fills us with power of optimism based on true reality and amazingness. And he's so well connected and he's so giving. Just love everything that you do. His company is Cressa, and thank you for all the work that you do. Would you like to make any final comments?
Sure. Now, I want to thank everyone for being here. We're excited. Our time is now. Arizona has arrived. 3 years ago, we were a tertiary market when it came to industrial. Today, we're the fastest growing industrial market in the United States. That's amazing. You rewind 3 years ago before we had COVID, when you would talk to CEOs, about 30% of all CEOs had a plan to provide facility and reshoring back here. You talk to CEOs today, 90% of CEOs want a plan to bring back nearshoring. The final thing I leave you with is that the New York Times just released a podcast that said that it's going from being made in China to HO in Mexico, that they are coming. China is one of the biggest investors in Mexico because they know they can get their products over here and they can get them moved up to us. And that is creating this vacuum that you're seeing. And this room is a testament to the growth that we have. So welcome here. We're glad to have you. We celebrate you for coming and really helping grow our economy. Verde Clean that's in the house, they landed the TSMC account as a small cleaning facilities company, doubled their revenue. That's the stuff that matters. When we talk about the Global Chamber, it's about the people, the lives, and the businesses that you're affecting. And your commitment to coming here and putting your facilities and your technology here is helping us grow our economy and make it one of the best in the entire world. So thank you.
Before I get to you, Consul General Sone, Kyoko, may I borrow you for a second? Kyoko, the visual image I'll always have for Kyoko is her office when she was at NKK Switches. She was the CEO. So she started in Wisconsin, and she was, what was your role? Like an assistant to the president? Initially assistant to the president, like decades ago. So she helped select Scottsdale as the US headquarters for NKK Switches, which is a Tokyo-based company. I always thought Nagoya, but it is Tokyo. So I visited her maybe 10 years ago, before Global Chamber. And there is a picture of the board of NKK Switches, 30 people, 29 Japanese guys with dark suits and dark hair, and Kyoko. And it was the stark contrast of that just shook me to my roots, like, wow, there's so much progress that needs to be made in the world. And it's being made, and you made a lot of that. So thank you for your leadership. And she retired from NKK Switches successfully. And now she has all sorts of things she's involved with in the community, including being the chairperson for the Japanese Friendship Garden here in Phoenix. And she's going to let us know, what are we in store? What's in store? What are we going to see at the garden?
The garden.
Yeah.
You're going to see the garden.
Sure.
Right?
Plants and water and stones.
And the waterfall and.
Would you like to say a little of the history of the garden?
Well, I'm sure you're very anxious to get to the food, but as Consul General Sone said, we celebrated 20-year anniversary last year in November. 20-year anniversary was open to the public, and Japanese Friendship Garden is the collaboration between the sister cities, Phoenix and Himeji. It is only 3.5 acres, but it has all of the elements of what the Japanese garden should have. It has the waterfall, the stone lantern, beautiful tea house, and many flowering trees now you're going to enjoy. Many visitors say, where are the cherry trees? Sorry to say, the trees do not grow in Phoenix area. It's too hot and dry. Yeah, in DC, yes, that's right. So anyways, I think you would see what I'm talking about when you come to this reception that is hosted by, thank you, Consul General Sone. And we are so delighted that you're going to be at the garden, and there'll be some food vendors and all Japanese food. And everybody at the garden, staff, is very excited to have the preparation of this. So for those people who have never been there, I think many of you have. I hope many of you have. How many of you have? Okay. Today, this is the opportunity to see this beautiful garden in Sonoran Desert. And it is located on 3rd Avenue and Roosevelt. So I believe this is First Street, right? And Phoenix, when you go to Central, it will become Avenue. So the First Street, Central, First Avenue, Second Avenue, and the 3rd Avenue, and Roosevelt. So I think Doug was saying it will be 22 minutes to walk, but only about 5 minutes to drive. And the parking, I hope it's not going to be too challenging. There is a parking at the garden. And beyond that, you can park on the street, or you can park on the Culver Street. That's where the parking is too. So I hope everybody will make it. And again, thank you very much, Consul General, to be hosting this reception. Backup meaning the Roosevelt? Yes. Oh, it will be the across the street. There is that street. What street is it? Where the puppet theater is, and you just across the street, so you would see it. Yeah.
So if you run into trouble, let us know. And some of you have my cell phone. Give me a shout. So 2nd Street, north-south, 1st Street, north-south, Central, then 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue, just right over there is where you're headed. So it's quite close, 5 minutes, and there is parking there, and then there's parking all around it just in case that does fill up. 8 vendors, I think, that are there.
Close to 8 vendors, and then sake, of course, right?
Really? Yes, sake there for sure. And when I saw the list, there was the yakitori, which there's no good yakitori place in Phoenix. Like, why is it so difficult? I don't know. And then I realized they're from LA and they're part of the Matsuri tomorrow. So don't forget that you also can have an opportunity to go to the 2nd largest festival, Japanese festival in the United States tomorrow. And the mayor will be there. She decided that she was going to be there live in person with Consul General Sone in, I think, the morning. Could you leave us with some final remarks? Thank you, Kyoko. Oh, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doug, for organizing this wonderful event, which is a little bit more than I expected. And especially very personally, since I've been posted in India and I heard about those new development or the progress in the semiconductor related industry in India is a good opportunity for us to collaborate, and maybe we can bring more Indian people here and have Indian restaurant as well.
Okay, good, good. And you also mentioned about those public transportation. Japan is always ready to work together, and if you can encourage the local authorities to come to Japan to see how the Japanese public transportation is working. You know, they having the good the business, you need a good infrastructure and good food. So I hope this evening you will have experienced some good Japanese food, and that and good sake will bring more business possible. So thank you very much, and thank you very much, Global Chamber and Arizona State University, Thunderbird School of Global Management, and GPEC. You see, Camacho-san is where he left. And so I hope we will see you again in Japanese Friendship Garden. Thank you very much.